The day I held the keys to my first apartment, I felt like I had finally made it. 6 years of saving every penny, working overtime, skipping vacations. And there I was, standing in my own place. Then my phone rang. It was my dad. For the first time in almost a year, he called just to say he was proud of me. He asked for my new address so he could send a housewarming gift. I gave it to him without thinking twice. I had no idea that one decision would turn my life upside down. Before I get into what happened next, let me ask you something. Where are you watching from today? Drop your city or country in the comments below. And if you have ever trusted someone only to realize they had a hidden agenda, hit that like button right now. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you do not miss any part of this story. Because what my father did next, I still cannot fully wrap my head around it. To understand why this hurt so much, I need to take you back to when I was 9 years old. That was the year my parents got divorced. I remember sitting on the stairs, listening to them argue in the kitchen. My mom was crying. My dad was yelling about needing space, needing to find himself. A week later, he moved out. He promised me nothing would change between us. He said he would pick me up every weekend. He said we would still go fishing, still watch football together, still be father and son. Those promises lasted about 3 months. The weekend visits became every other weekend, then once a month, then birthdays and holidays only, then sometimes not even that. I would sit by the window on Friday afternoons, backpack ready, waiting for his car to pull into the driveway. Most of the time it never came. My mom would find me there hours later, still waiting, still hoping. She never badmouthed him in front of me. She just hugged me and told me it was not my fault. When I was 11, my dad remarried. Her name was Linda. 2 years after that, they had a son together, Derek. Suddenly, my dad had a new family, a new house, a new life. And I was just the kid from his old one. Every time I visited, I felt like a stranger in their home. Derek had the bigger room. Derek got the new bike for Christmas. Derek was the one my dad coached in Little League. I was just the quiet boy who showed up a few times a year and did not quite fit in. My mom worked 2 jobs to keep us afloat. She was a receptionist during the day and cleaned offices at night. She never complained. She just kept going, kept providing, kept loving me enough for 2 parents. I learned from her that if you want something in this life, you have to earn it yourself. Nobody is going to hand it to you. So that is exactly what I did. I got my first job at 16, bussing tables at a diner near our house. I saved every tip, every paycheck. I got into college on a partial scholarship and took out loans for the rest. I studied graphic design because I loved creating things, bringing ideas to life on a screen. After graduation, I landed a job at a design firm in Denver. It was not glamorous, but it was mine. I worked my way up, took on extra projects, built a reputation for being reliable and talented. For 6 years, I lived in a tiny studio apartment, eating cheap meals, saying no to trips and luxuries. All because I had one goal. I wanted to own something. I wanted a place that was truly mine, something nobody could take away from me. And finally, at 28 years old, I did it. I signed the papers on a 2-bedroom apartment on the 5th floor of a nice building with a view of the park. The day I got those keys, I cried in my car for 10 minutes. Not because I was sad, because I had actually done it. 3 days later, my dad called. I almost did not answer. We had not spoken in nearly a year, not since he forgot my birthday again. But something made me pick up. His voice was warm, friendly, almost like the dad I remembered from before the divorce. He said he heard I bought a place. He said he was proud of me. He said he wanted to send me something for the new apartment, maybe some nice cookware or a gift card. He asked for my address, and I gave it to him. I gave it to him because in that moment I thought maybe things were finally changing. Maybe he was finally ready to be my dad again. Maybe buying this apartment was not just a milestone for me, but a bridge back to him. 2 weeks later, on a Saturday evening, I was cooking dinner for my girlfriend Megan. We had been together for 2 years, and she was the first person I wanted to share my new place with. We were laughing about something, I cannot even remember what, when the doorbell rang. I was not expecting anyone. I wiped my hands on a towel and walked to the door. When I opened it, my heart stopped. Standing there was Derek, my half-brother, the golden child. He had 2 large suitcases beside him and a grin on his face, like he had just won the lottery. "Dad said you would let me crash here for a while," he said, already stepping past me into the apartment. "Nice place, bro." I stood there frozen, my hand still on the doorknob. Megan appeared behind me, her eyes wide with confusion. I had no words. I did not even know Derek had my address. I did not even know he knew what city I lived in. I pulled out my phone and called my dad immediately. He picked up on the second ring, like he had been waiting. "What is going on?" I asked. "Why is Derek here?" My dad sighed like I was the one being unreasonable. He explained that Derek had some trouble with his apartment in Phoenix. He needed a place to stay for a few weeks while he got back on his feet. Dad figured, since I had that extra bedroom, it would be perfect. "You gave him my address without asking me," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "He is your brother," my dad replied. "Family helps family. It is just for a little while. Do this for me, son." He hung up before I could respond. I looked at Derek, who had already made himself comfortable on my couch, scrolling through his phone. I looked at Megan, who squeezed my hand and gave me a look that said she would support whatever I decided. And I felt something crack inside my chest. My dad had not called to congratulate me. He had called to get my address for Derek. The whole thing was a setup from the start. The first week with Derek in my apartment was a nightmare I could not wake up from. He took over the living room like it was his personal bedroom. His clothes were everywhere. His shoes blocked the hallway. He left dirty dishes in the sink and empty beer cans on the coffee table. My beer, by the way. He helped himself to my refrigerator without ever asking if it was okay. He stayed up until 2 or 3 in the morning, watching loud action movies or playing video games with the volume cranked up. I had to be at work by 7:30 every morning. I would lie in bed exhausted, staring at the ceiling while explosions and gunfire echoed through my walls. When I asked him to keep it down, he would apologize and turn the volume down for maybe 20 minutes. Then it would creep right back up again. Megan stopped coming over. She said Derek made her uncomfortable. The way he looked at her, the comments he made about her appearance. Nothing overtly inappropriate, just enough to make her skin crawl. I understood. I did not want to be in my own apartment either. I tried talking to Derek calmly. I explained that I had to work, that I needed sleep, that this was my home, and I had certain expectations. He nodded along like he understood. He promised to do better. He said he was looking for jobs, that he would be out of my hair soon. But every day when I came home from work, I found him in the exact same spot, on the couch controller in hand, surrounded by snack wrappers and empty bottles. He was not looking for anything except the next level in whatever game he was playing. About 10 days in, I finally got the full story. Derek had been evicted from his apartment in Phoenix because he had not paid rent in 4 months. 4 months. He had a job at a warehouse, but got fired for showing up late too many times. Linda was furious with him. They had a massive argument, and she told him he was not welcome in their house until he got his act together. So my dad came up with a solution. Send Derek to Apollo. Let Apollo deal with it. That was when everything clicked into place. My dad did not call me because he was proud of me. He did not want to reconnect after all these years. He just needed somewhere to dump his problem child, and I was convenient. I was the responsible one, the one who always did the right thing, the one who never caused trouble. Of course, Apollo would take care of it. Apollo always takes care of everything. I felt sick to my stomach. I had spent my entire childhood trying to earn my father's love, trying to prove I was worthy of his attention. And here was the proof that I had never been anything to him but useful. Things got worse in week 2. Derek started inviting people over. I came home from work one Tuesday evening to find 3 strangers sitting in my living room, drinking and smoking cigarettes. My apartment reeked of tobacco. I hate that smell more than almost anything. It reminds me of my grandfather's house, where ashtrays overflowed and the curtains were yellow from years of smoke. I told them they needed to leave. Derek looked at me like I had lost my mind. "Come on, man," he said. "We are just hanging out. Do not be such a buzzkill." I stood my ground. I told them this was my home. I did not allow smoking inside, and they needed to go. Now. They left grumbling and shooting me dirty looks. But Derek was furious. He got in my face, accused me of embarrassing him in front of his friends, called me uptight and controlling. And then he said something that cut me to the bone. "Dad was right about you," he spat. "You always think you are better than everyone else. You always have to be the perfect one, looking down on the rest of us." I stepped back, like I had been slapped. My own father talked about me behind my back. He painted me as arrogant, as someone who thought he was superior to his own family. I could not believe it. Or maybe I could. Maybe I had always known deep down that my father resented me for being self-sufficient, for not needing him the way Derek did. I called my dad that night. I told him everything. The mess, the noise, the smoking, the disrespect. I asked him to talk to Derek to help me find another solution. My dad listened silently. Then he told me I was overreacting. "Derek is going through a hard time," he said. "You need to be more understanding. He is your brother." I asked him why Derek could not just come home to Phoenix. Why could he not stay in their house until he figured things out? There was a long pause. Then my dad said their house did not have room. They had converted the guest room into Linda's craft studio. There was nowhere for Derek to sleep. "Their house has 4 bedrooms, I said. 4 bedrooms, Dad." He did not have an answer for that. He just repeated that Derek needed my help and that I should be patient. "Give him a few more weeks," he said. "Do it for me. Do it for me." After everything that was his argument. Do it for the man who missed my graduation. Do it for the man who forgot my birthday year after year. Do it for the man who chose a new family and left his old son behind. I hung up without saying goodbye. That night, I lay in bed and stared at the ceiling for hours. Megan called to check on me, but I did not have the energy to talk. I felt more alone than I had ever felt in my life. My father had betrayed me. Not with a single act, but with a lifetime of small abandonments that had all led to this moment. And I was tired. I was so tired of trying to earn love from someone who had never been willing to give it. The 3rd week began with me leaving for a 2-day business trip. I had a client presentation in Seattle, something I had been preparing for months. I almost canceled because I did not trust leaving Derek alone in my apartment. But my boss made it clear this was important for my career, and I could not let Derek sabotage that too. I gave Derek a clear list of rules before I left. No guests, no smoking, no touching anything in my bedroom. He rolled his eyes and said I was treating him like a child. Maybe because you are acting like one, I thought, but I did not say it out loud. I just grabbed my suitcase and headed to the airport, praying that everything would be okay. It was not okay. I got back Thursday evening, exhausted from travel and presentations. The moment I opened my apartment door, I knew something was wrong. The smell hit me first. Stale beer, cigarette smoke, and something else I could not identify. I walked into my living room and stopped dead. The place looked like a bomb had gone off. Empty bottles and cups covered every surface. My coffee table had rings and stains all over it. There was a dark red stain on my carpet that looked like wine. Food wrappers and cigarette butts littered the floor. Someone had drawn something crude on my wall with what looked like marker. Derek had thrown a party in my apartment while I was gone. I found Derek passed out on the couch, still wearing the same clothes from 2 days ago. I did not wake him. Instead, I walked to my bedroom to make sure nothing had been touched. My bedroom door was open. I always keep it closed. I stepped inside and immediately noticed my dresser drawers were not quite shut all the way. Someone had been going through my things. I checked my closet, my nightstand, my desk. And then I realized what was missing. My mother's watch. It was not expensive. It was a simple silver watch with a blue face that she gave me when I graduated from college. She had saved up for months to buy it. She cried when she handed it to me, told me she was so proud of the man I had become. That watch meant more to me than anything else I owned. It was irreplaceable. Not because of its value, but because of what it represented. My mother's sacrifice, her love, her belief in me. I tore my room apart looking for it. I checked under the bed, behind the dresser, in every drawer and pocket. Nothing. It was gone. I marched into the living room and shook Derek awake. He groaned and tried to roll over, but I grabbed his shoulder and pulled him up. "Where is it?" I said. My voice was calm, too calm. "Where is what?" he mumbled, rubbing his eyes. "My watch, the silver one from my dresser. Where is it?" Derek's eyes shifted. Just for a second, but I caught it. He shrugged and said he did not know what I was talking about. I had never gone in my room. Must have misplaced it. I stared at him for a long moment. Then I walked over to his suitcases in the corner and started searching. He jumped up, shouting at me to stop telling me I had no right. But I kept going. And there, tucked into a side pocket of his duffel bag, was my mother's watch. I held it up. Derek's face went pale. "I was just borrowing it," he stammered. "I was going to put it back. I just wanted to see it." "Come on, man, it is not a big deal." Not a big deal. My mother's watch, the only thing I have from her that I can hold in my hands. And he was going to steal it, and probably sell it for beer money. Something shifted inside me at that moment. For years I had bent over backwards, trying to keep the peace, trying to maintain some connection to my father, trying to be the good son who never complained. And where had it gotten me? My father used me. Derek disrespected me in my own home. And now he had tried to take the one thing that mattered most. No more. I did not yell. I did not throw anything. I just put the watch in my pocket and walked away. I went to my room, closed the door, and sat on the edge of my bed. I called Megan and told her what happened. She listened to everything, then said 4 words that gave me the courage I needed. "You know what to do." I spent the next hour on my laptop researching tenant rights and eviction procedures. Technically, Derek was not a tenant. He had no lease, no agreement, and had been in my apartment for less than 30 days. In my state, that meant I had the legal right to ask him to leave without going through formal eviction proceedings. I typed up a written notice. It stated that Derek had 72 hours to vacate the premises. I printed it out, signed it, and dated it. Then I went back to the living room, where Derek was sitting on the couch, looking nervous. I handed him the paper. He read it, then laughed. "You are joking, right? You cannot kick me out. I am your brother." "You have 72 hours, I said. "That is final." His expression changed from amused to angry in a heartbeat. He pulled out his phone and called our dad right there in front of me, putting it on speaker. He told our dad that I was throwing him out on the street, that I was being cruel and heartless. My dad called me back 30 seconds later. He was furious. He called me ungrateful, selfish, and cold. He said he could not believe he raised a son who would turn his back on family. He demanded that I let Derek stay. For the first time in my life, I did not back down. "You gave away my address without asking," I said. "You used me. You never showed up for me my entire childhood, but you expect me to clean up your mess now. That ends today." There was silence on the other end. Then my dad said I would regret this. "The only thing I regret," I replied, "is spending years trying to earn love from someone who was never willing to give it." I hung up. Derek tried everything over the next 20 minutes. He begged, he threatened, he cried. He said he had nowhere to go, no money, no options. I told him I would call him an Uber to the nearest hotel and pay for one night. That was the last thing I would do for him. He called me every name in the book: selfish, cold, a terrible brother, a disappointment. I did not respond. I just stood there and waited. Finally, he grabbed his suitcases and stormed toward the door. He slammed it so hard, the pictures on my wall shook. And then he was gone. I stood alone in my apartment. The silence was overwhelming. I walked to my couch, sat down, and pulled my Mother Is watch from my pocket. I held it in my hands and just stared at it. And then I cried. Not because of Derek, not even because of the mess he left behind. I cried because I had finally let go of something I had been carrying for 19 years. The hope that my father would someday love me the way I needed him to. An hour later, Megan arrived. She did not say anything at first. She just sat down next to me and wrapped her arms around me. I leaned into her and whispered, "I think I finally let go of something I have been holding on to for 19 years. She kissed my forehead and said, "I am so proud of you." The days after Derek left were strange. The apartment was quiet, almost too quiet. I spent an entire weekend cleaning up the mess from his party. I scrubbed the carpet, repainted the wall, threw away everything he had touched. It was exhausting, but it was also cathartic. With every stain I removed, I felt like I was reclaiming my space, my home, my life. My dad did not call. I did not call him either. For the first time, I was okay with that silence. I told my mom everything that had happened. She listened, quietly, asked a few questions, and then said something that stayed with me. "I am proud of you for standing up for yourself," she said. "That takes more strength than most people realize." I understood then that she had dealt with my father is selfishness for years before the divorce. She knew exactly what it felt like to give and never receive anything in return. Megan suggested I try talking to a therapist. At first, I resisted. I did not think I needed it. But after a few weeks, I made an appointment. It turned out to be one of the best decisions I ever made. My therapist helped me understand that I had spent my whole life seeking validation from someone incapable of giving it. My father's neglect was not a reflection of my worth. It was a reflection of his limitations. I learned to stop chasing approval that would never come. Instead, I focused on the people who actually showed up for me. My mom, who worked 2 jobs to raise me right. Megan, who stood by me through the worst month of my life. My close friends who checked in on me and reminded me that I deserved better. I redecorated my apartment from scratch. New furniture, new curtains, new energy. I turned the guest room into a home office where I could work on freelance projects. I hung photos of the people I loved on the walls. I made the space truly mine. A month after Derek left, I invited my mom to visit for the first time. I cooked her dinner in my new kitchen. We sat on my balcony, looking at the park below, and she told me stories about her childhood that I had never heard before. When she left the next morning, she hugged me tight and said, "You turned out better than I ever dreamed." That meant more to me than any words my father had ever spoken. 6 months have passed now. My dad still has not reached out. Once in a while, Derek sends me a text asking for money. I do not respond. It is not that I am angry. I just do not have room in my life for people who only see me as someone to use. Megan moved in 3 months ago. The apartment that once felt like a battlefield is now filled with laughter and love. We cook together, watch movies on the couch, plan our future. Sometimes I catch myself smiling for no reason, and I realize it is because I am finally at peace. Looking back, I learned something important from this experience. Family is not defined by blood. Family is defined by the people who choose to show up for you, who respect you, who love you without conditions. Sometimes the people who share your DNA are the ones who hurt you the most. And sometimes the people who are not related to you at all become the family you always needed. I do not hate my father. Hatred takes too much energy, and he does not deserve that much space in my heart. I simply accept that he is who he is, and I cannot change him. What I can change is how much power I give him over my happiness, and I choose to give him none. If you are watching this and you have someone in your life who makes you feel like you are never enough, I want you to know something. Their inability to love you is not your failure, it is theirs. You deserve people who celebrate you, not people who tolerate you only when it is convenient for them. True freedom comes when you stop waiting for someone to give you permission to be happy. You do not need their approval. You do not need their validation. You just need to believe that you are worthy of love. Because you are. I am sitting on my balcony as I finish this story. Megan is inside making coffee. The sun is coming up over the park, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. I am wearing my mother is watch on my wrist, where it belongs. And for the first time in as long as I can remember, I feel like I am exactly where I am supposed to be. So, let me ask you this. Is there someone in your life whose approval you have been chasing for too long? Maybe it is time to let go. If this story resonated with you, please leave a comment below and share your own experience. Your words might help someone else who is going through something similar. Hit that like button if you believe everyone deserves to be treated with respect. Subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a story. And share this video with someone who needs to hear it today. Thank you for watching and for being part of this community. I hope you find the peace and love you deserve. Take care of yourselves, and remember the family you choose is just as real as the family you are born into.